Representative Griffith is recognized for 5 minutes.
Let me say, Mr. Chairman, from the get-go that I always tell folks I'm for additive history, not subtractive history. Put more out there, not less, but you do need to tell the main story. But before I get into some questions I had on that, Mr. Gonzalez, you were mentioned by name by the previous questioner. Did you want to respond in any way?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I agree with Representative Johnson wholeheartedly that history is not meant to fit a political narrative. It is doing that now, and we need to address that, and that's the reason why I welcome this hearing. Thank you for letting me answer.
Absolutely, thank you. Dr. Anderson, I was shocked, quite frankly, shocked, and I want you to explain a little bit, if you could, in your written testimony and in your oral testimony. You said the National Museum of American History says little to nothing, or says little to nothing to say about a wide range of major events in American history. The colonial period? They don't have much on the colonial period?
No, sir.
You know, because one of my complaints is that in the murals in the Capitol, they get it wrong. They've got Pocahontas, Mary and John Rolfe after the Pilgrims are landing at Plymouth Rock, and Pocahontas was dead, had gone to Great Britain, got a fever, had a baby, and was dead before the Plymouth Puritans ever showed up. And they don't have any of that discussed in any way that you know, Jamestown and all that was there. And note, I come from the western part of Virginia, but we're still proud of Virginia history. But I probably represent the largest number of descendants of Pocahontas because they moved west.
There's very little. I mean, you really have to hunt for it.
Yeah. You've already talked about the American founding, but the Louisiana Purchase and the explorations by Lewis and Clark, very little on that?
There's one wall, partial wall. That's all I've seen on that. It says next to nothing. And to go back to the founding for a second, Dr. Hartig spoke about how there were a dozen exhibits to deal with the founding. I mean, you could put everything in the museum that's talked about, that mentions the founding, into the rooms that include that feature the lowrider exhibit and the salsa music exhibit, and you'd have space left over. There's very little on the founding. A lot of it is not very colorful or interesting. For example, when even in the exhibit on the price of freedom, I think it's called, about our wars, where it talks about the Revolutionary War, which is a pretty good exhibit, somehow doesn't even mention the crossing of the Delaware or the winter at Valley Forge, the more colorful aspects, the more stirring aspects of our history.
I bet it doesn't get into Lord Dunmore's war either. That's another story. I'm really concerned about the Lewis and Clark expedition, because while Mr. Smithson's donation was relatively vague, he was what would maybe be referred to at the time as a natural philosopher, a mineralogist, et cetera. And there's not a display on all the different new animals and creatures and things that Lewis and Clark saw when they went west. The first time it was documented for the people in the eastern United States. Are you telling me that's not in there?
Not to my knowledge.
And you talk about the Salsa Museum, and I don't have any problem, or the Salsa display, and I don't have any problem with going through various genres, but you said in your testimony that there's nothing on big bands, jazz, the American Songbook. Is that correct?
Yeah, except for, I mean, there may be a mention or two that would qualify for that in the Entertainment Nation exhibit, but nothing devoted to that in particular.
Because, you know, I think that music traces through and tells a story about American history, whether you're talking about the origins of the banjo, which came over in part from Africa, and I did a whole lecture at that in my district recently. The banjo's not from my district per se, but a lot of influence there. And then I think about the March on Washington. Is there much on the March on Washington there, Dr. Anderson?
I believe there is on the March on Washington.
Okay, do they go through the fact that Peter, Paul, and Mary sang and actually put pictures on their biggest album ever, had pictures of them at the March on Washington? Is that in the music display? I mean, because to me that's a part of that's a big part of the history of the country, and a big part of the history of Washington D.C. was the March on Washington, for so much that it did so much good.
I mean, anything that has anything to do with activism, you can bet is represented. I mean, when you first walk into the museum from the National Mall side, which until recently was closed, the first thing you encounter, the only thing you encounter in the open space there is wall panels talking about activism.
Yeah, and I think this museum ought to focus on American history, so I was disturbed to hear about the Quetzal as a birder. I think it's a fabulous bird. I think that the natural science folks ought to have that, but they ought not have it necessarily in a money display in the American Museum, of the History Museum for America. I yield back.